Greetings in the name of His Imperial Majesty. A Scott talk. All praise due to the Most High, Jah Rastafari. Welcome back to another episode of the Love Zone. Joining me on the couch is the beautiful, the Royal Empress, the gorgeous Lillian.
Hi Ace. Hi everyone. Welcome back to the Love Zone.
And as usual, you look absolutely royal, my darling.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So do you.
Thank you very much. How's your week been?
Yeah, it's been busy but really good.
Yeah.
How's yours?
Amazing.
Good.
Amazing and awesome. You know. So, guys, last week's show was an absolute tear up. Yo, me and my co-host. Yo, yeah, we had a good old little tear up. But don't forget, this is not only a talk show, guys. It is a live, interactive debate show as well. So it's not about us seeing eye to eye. It's about exploring all the different possibilities. And as usual, as you know, guys, the gorgeous Lillian is also our resident counsellor. The advice she's giving out on tonight's show is not counselling. However, if you guys want any relationship counselling, marriage counselling, bereavement counselling, or any other type of counselling, just get in touch with www.Real Talk Radio. The details are scrolling across the bottom of the screen. So tonight's show is a continuation from last week. Last week, the topic was
dating online, or online dating apps.
Dating
yes or no?
Dating online dating apps. Yes or no? We had some clips from some young girls. You know, interesting points of view.
Absolutely.
And a few gentlemen sent in their clips as well.
They did.
You know, and we were at odds last week.
We were at odds.
You know,
absolutely.
I think you was yay and I was nay.
I was saying it's an option. You were saying it shouldn't be an option.
With good reason, and we're gonna with good reason. And I would say you frustrated my point last week.
I frustrated your point?
You frustrated my point last week. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to pattern you up neatly tonight.
Okay. Okay. I don't see how I frustrated your point, but...
Don't worry. Tonight I'm going to pattern you up neatly.
Okay.
And I'm going to make the point so clinical.
Mm-hmm.
It will be made clear. Shout out to everybody at Support for Progress, by the way. Shout out to all the girls logged on. Shout out to Anissa. Shout out to Angela. Shout out to Cheryl. Shout out to
Emily, Delia,
and all and everybody down there. Shout out to Sandra. All the girls. Angie, Shell, and all the girls logged in. And I mean, so and the comments, guys, on all social media platforms from Facebook to Instagram to the WhatsApps has just been phenomenal, and your emails have come in. We've got some really, really good emails to read out tonight. So we're gonna go through some of your emails shortly. But before we go into that, I think we wanted to just read out. There was a little bit of back and forth. So last week we were talking about online dating apps, and we kind of delved into sex before marriage.
That was the week before. We had Nicola with sex before marriage, and that is quite a heated subject, sex before marriage, because we had a lot of people believing that you should be able to. I mean, you coined the phrase "try before you."
No, I didn't coin the phrase.
Well, you brought up the phrase. Wow. You mentioned the phrase.
Do you see what I mean? We're only like a few minutes in, and already you tried to throw Ace under the bus. Did you see that? I coined the phrase.
Well, what I mean by
I never coined any phrase.
What I mean by that is that you brought.
I never coined any phrase.
What I mean by that is that you brought the phrase to the show. You said, "What about try before you buy?" These were the movements.
Well, that's the movements. Yeah.
But that has caused a bit of a debate, because there are some people who actually feel that.
Well, just to make it a little bit more clearer, it caused a shit storm on a WhatsApp group. Yes. It all went off because you had both male and female.
Yes.
It went all off, didn't it, about this try before you buy, because I think some people were saying that it's quite important to try before they buy.
Yes.
To see if you're compatible.
Yes.
Yeah. And then I think a few of the sisters didn't really like that idea.
No.
And they were saying that you should be able to build the compatibility.
Yes.
And with that compatibility, then I think the tasting becomes more sweeter.
Something
you wanted to read out some of the comments, didn't you?
Well, I won't read them out. We'll just paraphrase them, I think. Yeah,
go
because
for it.
The comments were that if you, just like you said, if you are trying before you buy, then there's no point in it from the lady's point of view, because you should be able to build that relationship up with your partner. But men are saying you may not be compatible. I can see it from both points of views, but I actually do believe that sometimes, even if you really do like somebody and you get on with them in a relationship, you may not actually be sexually compatible. One person's libido may be higher than the other. Some people may not be as experimental as others. So there is that ground. You're looking as though.
No, I'm smiling. Carry on, sweetie. Carry on, sweetie. I'm with you. I'm with you. I got
Yeah.
this.
So I understand that principle of maybe seeing if you are sexually compatible, because I have heard of stories where women have waited until their marriage night and been quite disappointed because the man was not prepared to try anything different. It was literally missionary position, and that's all you'll be getting. So at the very least, there needs to be discussion. Even if you're not having sex, there needs to be discussion.
See, we've got a whole show tonight, and this was just a kind of introduction, but this could end up, and we're not going to let it, but this could dwarf our whole show. So we're going to come back to this, but and I'm not cutting it dead because there's a lot to explore here, and I'm saying there's so much to explore here. This could just go in as usual, off script. Now, and I'm going to keep going back to this because it's a very key, it's a pinton in everything that we discuss.
Okay.
Now, a few weeks ago, we talked about sex.
Mm-hmm.
And then we quickly dissected that there's a difference between sex and making love.
Mm-hmm.
And we dissected that there's not only a difference between having sex and making love, but there's a difference between having sex, making love, and being intimate. So intimacy.
Yes.
And we realized that through the interaction through our guests and the comments that come in, that everybody had a different perspective on what is making love.
Mm.
You can make love without penetration. A lot of our guests came back and said, our viewers said, love isn't just about penetration. You can make love without penetration. We looked at what intimacy was and how to be intimate with somebody. And we chopped that up quite well.
Yeah.
Parked it aside. Now we've come full circle and we're talking about a completely different subject. We're talking about, in a relationship, should you try before you buy, so to speak, or should you wait? And this thing about compatibility came up.
Yes.
Are you sexually compatible?
Yes.
And like you said, there's stories where people have waited till their wedding night and maybe have not been compatible in that department. So for me, and personally, it goes back to the whole sex, making love, intimacy thing. When we talk about compatibility, I would say, and this is just Ace's opinion, you guys send us in your comments, you tell us what you think. But I would say compatibility means different things to different people. Some people, they might be more concerned about how sexually compatible they are.
Yes.
And other people might be less concerned with how sexually compatible they are, but more concerned with how compatible they are in other departments.
Yes. Yeah. But we have to realize that sex is a very important part of the relationship. It is an important part of the relationship. I don't think it's something that we can just brush aside. You can have relationships without sex, yes. But if you have a partner who has a high libido, who enjoys sex, and you don't, that could be a problem in your relationship.
Big problem. Big problem. And it often has been the case for many a man.
Yes. So this is why I'm saying it's again about having the conversations about sex. It's about and one of the things that was brought up when
I don't think the conversation helps.
You don't?
No, because if someone's just not that way inclined, the talking doesn't change things.
Yeah, but I mean the conversation to find out if they're that way inclined. That's what I'm talking about. You need to know what someone's sexual appetite is like.
But can you see? This is now this this starts to birth another question. Can you find out somebody's sexual appetite and whether you're sexually compatible with that person without actually engaging?
The difficulty is if you're both innocent and you both haven't had sex, that's an even playing field. Then you can grow on that and you can build on that. But if
how can you if you both have never had sex and you both don't even know what?
Well, because you're not going to have as many maybe restrictions in your mind. If you're young, and you're going to be having.
You've gone off again. You've gone off. You've
gone off to where?
I'm gonna have to wheel you back in because you've gone into fairyland.
I haven't gone into fairyland.
That doesn't make any sense.
It does make sense.
You're gonna derail the whole show. You've gone into fairyland. Two people that are young and innocent and haven't had any sex and had no sexual experiences are gonna sit down and have a conversation about how.
No, I didn't say about. No. You've misunderstood what I said.
I must have.
You misunderstood.
There's that tone. Teacher, go on. Have I misunderstood? Go on.
What I actually meant was when you're young and you haven't had sex before and you're going to embark in the sexual relationship, that's an even playing field. I'm talking about having a conversation with people who have had sex before. Not the innocence.
You've confused. I think you've twisted. Let's bring this back on track. So, compatibility. Basically, compatibility. You can't feel compatibility. So it all kicked off on WhatsApp because it was all about should you try before you buy or shouldn't you try before you buy? And it was deeper than that because some people were saying we need to know whether we're sexually compatible, and others were saying no. You build the connection, and through the connection becomes the compatibility. This is a phrase I coined the other day when we was talking about intimacy. If you're gonna quote the great quote me correct.
I will put the clip on Instagram for people to see.
Right, well, put it on Instagram. So when we was talking about intimacy, Ace got talk. I said, right, for what I kind of discovered from that is a lot of some females prefer the connection before the erection.
Yeah.
So that's my coining of phrases.
Okay.
Connection, then erection.
Okay.
So back on with tonight's show, because as usual, time is running away with us. Guys, you put some brilliant. And guys, we want to continue this. So we need your comments, your feedbacks for next week's show. Compatibility, try before you buy. I know we kind of covered it, but what this debate has sparked, we need to look in this further. Are you guys at home saying that yes, we need to find out whether we're sexually compatible, and it's a very important, or you say no, we build the compatibility? Because I know a few stories, and I didn't really want to go into them tonight, but I might share one or two next week. Okay. I know a few stories myself, just like yourself, about women who have waited to the wedding night and the man couldn't get it up. Yeah, he was completely impotent, right? Completely. And that was months and months and months of wedding planning. It's got to went better though, right? That was months of wedding planning. Months down the drain. Big wedding dress. Honeymoon, mush up, right? So I might share a few of them stories next week. Yeah? So in that case, connection before erection didn't work out, rude boy. Right. So that's another story for another time. You can laugh. You can laugh too. Guys, really like that. Right. You wanted to say something?
That's really unfortunate that actually happened. It is unfortunate. Obviously, did he know he had the?
He must have known. How could you not know? That's.
Well, then that was quite deceitful.
Yeah, I think you should have been honest.
It should have been honest. Okay.
So on with tonight's show.
Yes.
We got a bag of questions to get through.
Yes.
Lord have mercy. It's 25 past already. And we got video of them forgot you as well, you know. Our video. Okay. And what we wanted to do is we wanted to tie up the online dating questions from last week, didn't we, as well?
Yes, but should we go through the emails?
Yeah,
see how we get on.
Let's get through the emails.
Okay, so we had an email, and it says, I've been told that men love deeper than women, and that this is why they are so reluctant to commit to a relationship through fear of being hurt. Coming from a male perspective, do you feel this is true, Ace?
Just read that last sentence again.
coming from a male perspective, do you feel this is true, Ace?
Well, I've often heard them say, short man love deeper. You get me?
You've heard them say.
Yeah, females. Yeah, females say short men, they're. Yeah. I'm just giving the bounce on it. Apparently, females say, apparently short men are more passionate because apparently we got more to prove.
Oh, I see. That's all I can say. That's all I can say to that.
But I think in general, right, men are more passionate lovers.
They love
Do
deeper.
they love deeper? I personally,
and they have a fear to commit to a relationship for fear of being hurt.
I personally, and I'm just putting my hands up there, you know, personally, I would say, yeah, I think men do love deeper.
Really?
Yeah. And I think that the tables are turned, right? And we've been saying this for about the last decade, where we've been saying the ladies, you lot are moving like man them, and the man them is moving like ladies, because now, man, we're holding more feelings for you lot. And you lot are just chopping through us. Like, do you know that men have got the reputation of being the dogs in the. Now women you lot are cutthroat now, moving cold-hearted, relentless. We're the ones that we build up feelings, and you lot are just next, chop, next.
Really?
Yeah. So I think we do. Men, we do love deeper, and I do think that we do feel fear of getting hurt, because when that man falls in love with a woman, that man fall in love with her. A man will put his life down for a woman.
So are you saying that's not the same for a woman when she falls in love with a man?
Don't put words in my mouth. I'm not saying that at all. But the question was asked, Ace, in your opinion, do you feel men love deeper?
And you do?
I can't speak for all men.
Okay.
I can't speak for all men. But I know I'm a very passionate lover. You know, I'm a man. I'm an all-in kind of man. I'm either in or I'm out. There's no half-bit. If I love you, I love you. If I love you, I love you. That's it. I throw my life down for you. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
What do you think?
I don't know if men love deeper than women. I think women show love more, I think.
Definitely.
And so if men love deeper, they should show it. And then women may not be chopping through them, like you're saying. Because if a woman feels that she's being loved, why is she chopping through them? Have I got it wrong?
You have indeed.
Okay.
A very good friend of mine, Tina Turner, she made a song, yeah? It goes like this. What's love got to do with it?
It's what we're talking about, loving deeper.
Yeah, no, but you said if men love, why would
if you're showing, if a man is showing a woman love,
why would she chop through the man?
Yeah.
And I'm saying the same thing. What's love got to do with it?
Well, then you've chosen wrong.
No,
you've chosen the wrong woman.
See, that's what I'm saying. You've done this last week, sweetie, and a few of my guests commented on it afterwards. Where they said, hey, when you go a bit deeper, you kind of lose Lee. Because
oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm losing you again, darling. You got to stay with me.
I'm with you.
I'm saying relationships ain't formed nowadays on love.
But we're talking.
No, we're not. We're talking about this. Because you just I lost you when I said, what's love got to do with it? I'm saying a lot of relationships are not formed based on love nowadays. This is because it was the choppy. The question was, so why do they chop them? And I said, what's love got to do with it? And I've lost you. So I'm trying to break it down. Relationships are not, some relationships are not, people don't leave people because they fall out of love. Yeah. Most relationships are formed nowadays based on security.
Okay.
Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Okay, so this is what I'm talking about.
Not love. What's love got to do with it? They're basic, you know.
But our conversation, this question is that men love deeper and they don't commit to a relationship for the fear of being hurt.
Yeah, but then
you've said, that
it doesn't matter what I've said. You asked the question off the back of that question.
Yes,
and
so I haven't lost you. Haven't lost me, because what I'm trying to say to you is this: if you have chosen a partner who is just going to, you're giving them love and you're loving them deeper and you're giving them love and they're just chopping through you, you've chosen incorrectly because you want to give your love to somebody who's worthy of having it. No?
Nah, you're just going off. You just start to derail it. The
Okay.
thing is, what you can't do in anything is be conclusive. If this is this, then that means that. That'll be damaging for the viewers. Yeah, you can't do that. You can't. Can I make a point?
Yes, you can make a
But
point.
if you interrupt me while I'm making my point, it's not a point. You can't say, well, if this is this, well, then that means that. You can't do that. There's no conclusion. Every set of circumstances is different. Every interaction is different. But I'm going to move on. The question that you asked was, well, if men love deeper, why do women chop through them? And I said, look, what's love got to do with it? Meaning it's not about love. People don't break up. How much people break up with tears in their eyes? I love you. I'll always love you. But they're still breaking up. It had nothing to do with love. There's other factors is what I'm saying. And you've got to leave it there as factors because each set of circumstances is different. There's no conclusive answer. We're just exploring for the possibilities. Make sense?
I don't agree.
I don't ask you to agree. And we're not going into, it's not about whether you agree or not. It's about putting the information out there for the audience so then they can get what they need from it. And if you want to ask any questions, pop them in. It's not a whether you need to agree with me show. But let's move on with the next question, please.
Inconclusive answer to that for me.
Go on, no, let's chop it up. Go on, ask me one more time.
No, because I don't think you are with me. I don't think, because what we're trying to do is educate people. When you're choosing somebody, that's what we're talking about, educating people.
All right, so we want to go back to that.
No. We're going to go on to the next question.
It's important. Because choosing somebody and when you break up, I don't think you understand, it's two different places.
Of course.
Right, now, and without having, I'm going to spend about 2 more minutes on this because
Let me spend a minute on it. You can spend a minute.
So you chose somebody here. How many people, because I've been through this, how many people mash up, yeah, right? And I'm talking about marriages after 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. Some people mash up relationship after 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. This is why I said, what's love got to do with it? Because every relationship starts off happily in love. Most people, when they're loved up and they're rolling around and shit, you think that love's never going to end. But things happen along the way. So you can't say to every single body, hold on, wait for it, because I'm going to kill you with the bar. I'm going to kill you with the bar now. You can't say to everybody, you chose badly. Wait for it. Let me kill you with it. Right? Because there'll be people that come going, oh, maybe I chose badly. No, you never. Hey, Scott talk. I'm looking in the camera. Hey, Scott talk. I'd rather have loved than lost than never have loved at all. I'll say it again. I would rather have loved and lost than never have loved at all. So there's no choosing badly, is what I'm saying. There's no such thing as good and bad. It's just choices. This is what I mean by going deeper. This is where I lose you when I go, because we're going on higher self levels.
Okay.
And I know there's people at home busting up in front of the camera now because they're saying, go on, Ace, he's gone off again. Okay. And I lose, whenever I go up to this part of the show, I lose you.
It's nice that you think that. It's really so nice that you think that. But this is what we're talking about now. Who you are as a person now. Would you be choosing a woman to have a relationship with who you are today that is just going to chop through you? That is what I'm talking about. Because the woman has asked, men love deeper. They don't want to show it because they don't want to commit and get hurt. Who you are, she's asking you the question today. The person you are today, are you going to choose a woman who is just going to chop through
That
you?
wasn't the question. Let's move on to the next question. We've covered this one.
So yeah, we're going to move on to the next question.
Yeah, go on. Mm-hmm. Go on, next question.
So, Ace and Lily, what is the best way to grow as an individual in a relationship, but not to grow apart when you both still love each other, even if you have challenging differences?
Now this question is so beautiful. I want you to read it one more time because this is a question. And thank you. Who was that one from?
This is from Anissa.
Big up yourself, Anissa, for them. Big question. They are fire. What happened to them? That is a big question, a really big question, and it's a question that a lot of relationships have that challenge. And I can personally say from my own personal experiences, I've been in relationships where me and that person has grown apart. So just read the question one more time.
What is the best way to grow as an individual in a relationship, but not to grow apart when you both still love each other, even if you have challenging differences?
I'll let you take the lead on this one, sweetie.
We covered this slightly in one of the other shows when we said about when people get together and one outgrows each other because you have codependency and ways of being. And what we said back then, it's about keeping those channels of communication going, because you have to express who you are changing to, but still try and keep a connection with your partner. And you both have to be willing to grow in the changes. Because if you're both not willing to grow in the changes, one will outgrow the other. So grow through the challenging times.
Definitely. And just to add to that, I know we talked about it a few weeks ago and we looked at the difference when you had a codependent relationship, right? Today, I'm looking at it from an independent perspective. So you've got two individuals and they're both very independent.
Yes.
And they're both doing their thing, but there's a relationship, there's some chemistry.
Yes.
And even through that, people, because remember, I've identified that who you are when you're 20 is not who you are when you're 30.
Absolutely.
And who you are when you're 30 is not who you are at you're 40. And at different stages in your journey, you want different things out of a partner, different things out of a relationship. So I would say that one of the key things in just to add to everything you said there is having things that you do together. Because often in relationships, we might have our own time and we have time together, but there's things that we do together.
Yes.
Do you understand what I'm saying? There's a difference between being with somebody and doing something together. And so I would definitely encourage anyone in that situation to just find some type of common interest, even if it's a hobby that you can both participate in together. Because it's another type of bonding, and it's another type of glue.
Yeah, absolutely. But also talk about the challenging things. Don't bury it under the carpet. Talk about them. But what's actually going on? What is challenging you, and how you can work around these challenges.
Yeah. And just to kind of put some cream on the top. We talked about compatibility, and we talked about it today from a point of view of maybe like I'm interested in you and you're interested in me, and maybe should we see how sexually compatible we are now? But one thing I don't think we talk about enough in relationships is sexual compatibility in a relationship. So we identified on another show, and I'm just people learn through repetition, but I identified, and it's blatantly obvious, that people can be in a relationship for years, and I can just meet you, and like you said, me and you meet, and from day one they're on a missionary thing, and we could be 2-3 years into the relationship, and because that's how we started, that's what we do. We just do missionary, but we've never actually had a conversation.
Absolutely.
What do you like? What do you like?
Absolutely.
You might say, start telling me you like nipple clamps and all kinds of freaky stuff, and you like, wearing bondage and whipping me. Like, never knew that about you. Do you know what I mean? So I would say that we talked about the finding if we're sexually compatible when we're trying to get to know each other, but I think that needs to also be brought into relationships.
Yes.
And it's something that should be spoken about quite often. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because people can go for years and just do what you're doing and never actually have a conversation. And so we try something new, and you that brings up a whole nother can of worms. Do you know what I mean? But I think it's important because it can only ever do two things: bring you closer together or push you further away.
Absolutely. And that's what I mean, having the conversations about sex are difficult at times, but the more you do it, the easier it gets. The earlier you do it, the easier it is. But yes, you're quite right, keep bringing them up in relationships, because people, it's just experimenting, and there's nothing wrong with that. They may like it and they may not. What's amusing you?
Nothing. I'm just agreeing with you.
Okay, cool.
Absolutely. We've got a next email to read out.
So the next one.
Actually, who's this one by?
This is Delia.
All right, we've got this one, guys. Today's show, we just chop it up. We've got a lot to get through. We should have moved on to videos by now, but we're gonna read this last one.
Okay.
And then after this one, we're gonna blast through a couple of videos because guys, I've got 6 clips to get through. We won't get through all of them tonight, but I want to do at least the first 2 from our Tash, right? Because that really kind of rounds up what we discussed
The
last
dating
week,
online.
and then we'll see if we get through them. But I want to kind of tie that because I think it's a very important part of the show. So, and then if we don't get to do Queenie's read email today, we'll read it out next week. But
Yes.
do you know? So our dealer, shout out to dealer at home, logged in, logged on. Big up your damn self. She sends us an email. How does it go? How's it go, Lee?
Okay, so what do you think about relationships where each are in their teens and in puberty too? Puberty means the sexual organs are being developed. Wouldn't puberty have a lot with them being sexually active?
Brilliant. Now, it's so serendipitous because everything we do here is authentic and it's not scripted. Yeah, this is all about real talk. And the most we've done is put the word out and say, guys, send us your questions, send us your emails. And I thought the emails and the questions that come in have been quite serendipitous. And this is an important one because it actually ties into the point I was trying to make last week. Right?
You need to let that go. You really
right?
need to let
the point
that go.
I was trying to make last week about online dating and why I have such a big problem with online dating websites. And Lee was saying it's not an either or. People should have the choice. But I went away and I really sat there and I thought long and hard about what the message I was trying to put across was and why I had such a big problem with online dating. And this email really helps push home my point. And it's that for the younger generation, because like you said, and like the clips identified that we played on last week's show, when you said to some of the young girls out on the street, you said, would you prefer online dating or doing it the traditional way? And they turned and said, what's the traditional way? Now, that bothers me that you've got 20-year-old kids that the only way they ever know how to meet somebody is via technology. And I've got a problem, Ace, because I'm God's advocate. I've got a problem with the fact that AI technology is taking over every part of our life to the point where you can't even meet somebody without having to have some type of technology involved. You know, and it's dehumanizing our interactions.
Okay. Well, it wasn't the only way. The young ladies did say they did meet people in bars. But I understand what you're saying. She thought the traditional way. What's the traditional way? I'm seeing online dating as an introduction, not a way to conduct a relationship. That is the difference.
Okay.
So you're not supposed to sit there just like you're saying, being keyboard warriors. And the reason I say that is because people have met people, have successful relationships through that introduction.
Pause.
Okay.
So,
we're okay.
Pause. You always go back to that. People have met people, and it really irritates me when I make a brilliant point like that, and people always go, I know so-and-so who's been married, and I know so-and-so's married. I am not saying people are not, you can't go online and meet somebody and get married to them. Right now, you know, you can go online and get an online bride, a bride to order. They're all these Russian brides, and this has been going on for years. All these men, they just go online, put in Russian bride, and you do pretty girl, blonde, 6'1". You choose your online bride, and you pay your money, and they fly and marry, done, papers, everything sorted, bride to order. So there's a lot you can get online. It doesn't make it right. So this question was about young people and puberty.
Yes.
And I went home and I thought about it. And I thought, you know what? This is a different way I'm going to put it out there.
Okay.
So it makes sense. It's for the layman, it makes sense. Do you know, like, you got to be, and this is going to say, oh, Ace is crazy, but so what? Because I think ahead. Oh yeah, I've got 2 points to make.
Okay.
Do you know, like, you got to be 18 to buy alcohol, and you've got to be you got to get a prescription from the doctor to take certain drugs. They got to be prescribed. I would say that. I'm going to be extreme, but just to nail the point home for you, you have to be over 30 to be allowed to go on an online dating website. I'm throwing it out there. There should be an age restriction on online dating websites.
Okay.
And the reason being is that prior to the age of 30, because I was looking at this on a deeper level, a lot of the people that you refer to, and you'll say, oh, I know people that have met their partners online. These are all people that have been through the traditional ways like me and you, because we grew up in a time when there wasn't internet dating, there wasn't websites, there wasn't the internet. So we grew up the traditional way. And down the line, we've had kids, we've had relationships. So we've learned the way to interact with human beings.
Yes.
Now we've got this technology. Okay, I'll go online. It's different from these youngsters that are coming up, and that's all they know. Now, I spent this week surveying and asking young people from different ethnic backgrounds, what would you do if there wasn't the choice and you couldn't go and do online dating? And they started coming up with all these other social ways they would interact. And I said, voila, my point exactly. So even though you say, and I understand that not everyone has long vision and can see the long, there's some people, they're very short-sighted, and that's fine. That's why I'm here. Even though you say, oh, it's just an introduction, just like when the TV, do you know that when they made the TV, do you know what they said about the first black and white TVs? This will never take off. People are not going to sit down and stare at a box. Now look, there's a TV in every single person's house. So I see how things that just creep in and people like yourself will endorse and champion and go, oh, it's just an introduction. Before you know it, it completely takes over, and that becomes the new norm, and that's all we know. Ace Got Talk. I nailed it tonight. I made my point very clear. AI tech is dehumanizing us. Yeah, and it has no place when it comes to dating.
Okay. I have not championed anything. I said people should be able to have a choice, because you were saying it shouldn't be allowed. I will not blanket things, because I believe in free choice. If people want to do it, it is their choice. If they don't want to do it, it is their choice. I'm not championing and saying that we should all be doing this and this is the way forward and this is the way to go. So do not put that on me, because that is not what I said. I have said people have made a choice to use it. Some people have found it successful. Therefore, I cannot say it shouldn't be allowed. But you want to say it shouldn't be allowed, and that's your choice to say that. We're going to the question what this young lady has asked.
We've moved on from
about
that question, but go on.
Because we haven't answered it.
So, okay, gosh, true,
Yeah.
true.
So because she's saying about kids in their teens and having sexual relationships, that is the important thing. Children in their teens are being experimental without actually being educated about relationships emotionally.
Right.
So
right now, sorry, go on. I'll let you land.
And what she's saying is about they're going and getting sexually active without their organs being developed. Yeah. So about puberty. So it's about, as I said before, educating the children about emotional.
Right. Can I?
Things that are going to happen to them sexually and emotionally, giving them education, not just giving them sexual education, but giving them emotional education about relationships.
Right. Now, you don't realize, and it's fine, as long as I get the information out. You don't realize that you're endorsing everything I'm saying, but in a backwards way. This is why they shouldn't be on online dating websites, because you're too young. Now it makes sense. About 5 minutes ago, oh, just like you have an age restriction on alcohol and you've got to be 18 to buy alcohol. Ace said kids shouldn't use online dating websites till they're 30. I gave that extremity, maybe 25. But this is the reason why, because 16, 17, even with these kids now, 12, 13, 14 there, and they're whiz kids, they're on all this technology. Yeah. And I'm saying they don't need to be online dating and linking up. And we always talk about online dating and people that get married, but we haven't really drilled down into all these apps that are just literally link up and sex apps. Hold on, let me land. Now, these young individuals with these young minds that have not yet developed, that have not actually learned how to normally, it's got talk, I'm going in tonight, normally interact, human interaction is now just on this cyborg interaction. So when you say these are just tools, these are dangerous tools to facilitate meeting up. I'm going deep. I might lose you again. It's fine. But these are dangerous because you've got a young person, just like you said, the email says, who hasn't been sexually educated. It doesn't understand the dynamics of a relationship. It's not all about sex. There's so many other elements of a relationship and interaction that they need to understand on a social level. They haven't got any of them soft skills, but they've got a mobile phone, a smartphone where they can go tap, 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 meet this person, and that's all they know, because there's no other way, because the old ways moved out. Remember, he said there should be a choice, but that choice slowly gets eroded. That's all they know, and now we've got our young people going into these damaging relationships. Let me make one more point. I'm going to nail it tonight because I had a whole week to think about it. I'm going to nail it tonight, and I'm going to go in. Last week, I made a point, and I'm going to say the black word. Like, no, we're afraid to say the word black. I'm going to say it. Last week, I made a very good point, and the point was that it's been proven fact that not only that these same online dating websites that I'm dead against here, that their algorithms are biased towards black women. That's the point I made last week, and I asked people to go away and Google it. And then they'll be like, right, he's right. Their statistics show that their algorithms are actually programmed to be biased against black women. I'm going to say something else tonight. In the black community, we have a big problem with teenage pregnancy. Fact, worldwide. In the black community, we have a big problem with teenage pregnancy. Yeah, and a lot of our young women are getting pregnant at a rate where these are kids having kids, and this isn't just yesterday. Do we need any more technology to speed up and facilitate that process? No. So back to you, and I'll use the words that I coined earlier. You keep championing this choice. I don't think it's necessary, and I don't think it has a place. And I'll give you one more example, then I'm going to be quiet because I know we're running out of time. I was speaking to one of the young ladies that sent in some of the clips that we might get to play tonight, and she's from the Gujarati community. And I asked her the same question. I said, because if you look at other cultures, yeah, I'm not saying they don't use technology, but they have more traditional ways. And I gave this to you last week. It doesn't have to be an either or. Ace, when I've got choice between left or right, I'm going straight down the middle. Let's create our own narratives. Let's have our own culture. Let's have our own ways of doing things. I was speaking to a good friend of mine in the Gujarati community, and they have very well organized systems in place where if you're looking for somebody, someone will introduce you to somebody. You know, and what I admire about the Gujarati community a lot of the times is that when people come together, it's a union of families. It's not one little brother over there who was sleeping with that little girl over there who got her pregnant that he want to run away, right? So it's more unions of families, and this is why you see a completely different culture in terms of marriage, relationships, etc. So I know the point. I'll nail it again. In the black community, we have a very high rate of teenage pregnancy. We don't need any technology, any Tinders, any fish for gal, or any more dating apps that are going to encourage our young people to be linking up and having unprotected sex when they're too young and don't know themselves. What we should be doing is creating other alternatives to educate them to make better choices.
How are you finished? As far as I'm aware, there are no teenage apps. There are no teenage, as far as I'm aware, I might be misinformed, but as far as I'm aware, there's no teenage dating apps that these teenagers can go on. Furthermore, teenage pregnancies have been a problem for a long time before dating apps came out.
Exactly.
It's got nothing to do with that. There was something called a link up. Yeah, there was something called a link. There was something called a link up many years ago. You could be walking along the street. Yeah, walking along the street. A young boy would say to a young girl, "We need to have a link up," and they will go off and do this. I'm not contradicting myself because you are trying to say that you are losing me because I don't understand something, and I'm trying to make it clear to you. I understand everything you're saying. I understand what you're saying. When I'm talking about dating apps and I'm not championing them, and you must stop saying that because you're giving false information about me. Yeah. Yeah, you're giving false information. But what I'm saying is there are people, and I'm talking of older people, and the girls we interviewed were not teenagers. They weren't teenagers.
What's your point, sweetie?
What I'm saying to you is you're going to this as it's a young person's, like we're answering this woman's thing and saying that these young teens are going on these apps and that's how they're getting teenage pregnancies and all this, and it's nonsense.
No,
you are you are going to let me finish.
And then I'm going to correct you because
you don't have to correct me.
You don't, because we're recording,
we don't have to
so we can play
me.
it back and you can listen and you realize you just.
You do not have to. I have not made a mistake.
I didn't say they're going on these websites and they're going. I said our young, without these websites, they're already getting teenage pregnancies.
Absolutely.
Problem. So we don't need anything more.
But we're not talking about the teenage. No. We're not talking about that because you're trying to make a point out of something that is not a point.
I made many points.
You're trying to do something out of something that doesn't need to be put in there because this was about the teenage.
It's about me and work. I work. And a chicken, me, I just stop
and
trying
it's
to
about
drag,
it's
drag,
about because if somebody because somebody's asked us a question and then you have linked it to the dating apps which we're talking about.
And you had a problem with that. No, because it all ties together holistically, but you can't. That's why I've lost you. Because if you haven't
lost me, you can never lose me.
We've got 2 clips we're running. I have lost you because if you can't see,
you cannot.
Do you know what it is?
You cannot lose me because I know what you're talking about. Yes, I do. I understand what you're trying to say, but what I'm saying to you is we are looking at educating children.
This is your strategy. When this is your strategy, I've worked it out. When I've smashed it out the park with good points, right? What you're thinking?
This is not a competition.
Let me agitate him to dilute what he's saying. I've murdered it. Let's have our first clip from Tash, shall we?
Right. It's not a competition.
Clip number 1.
It's not a competition. It's not a competition.
Let's hear what Tash has to say. Tash, what's she got to say about dating websites? Volume.
Hi, Love Zone. Natasha here from We Care Family Services, giving you my opinion on online dating. So, question 1 is, would you ever use online dating? For me, it's a no. Not my kind of thing at all. But if you do online date, then good luck. How do you think online dating could be improved? I've never been on an online date. I've never met anybody online, so I wouldn't be able to answer that question. But from stories that I've heard, I think there needs to be a referencing button because I've heard some horror stories. Do you think online dating is a good way to find out about someone? Again, if they're telling the truth and they are a genuine person, no catfishing and that kind of thing, then yeah, it could be. You can only go by what somebody tells you. Do you think online dating is a good way of meeting a partner? I've got friends who have.
Yeah, we'll hear the next clip in just a second. Guys, I want to shout out to everybody at home that's been putting your clips in. I said it off yours. She's kicking me now.
Sorry, no, I did that. It was an accident. It was an accident. Sorry.
Shout out to everyone. I'm just reading some of the comments on the YouTube. So shout out to Queenie, logged in, logged on. The Royal Empress there, who says, yes, Lillian raised a good point about one having more libido than others. So do you remember earlier when you were talking about the sexual libido and if one person's got a high libido and the other person's got a low libido? Queenie agrees with you on that point. She says it's a massive problem. Shout out to Emily. Emily Lewis, logged in, logged on. She says it's good to have those conversations about compatibility, likes and dislikes in relationships. Thank you very much for your comments there, Emily. Emily also says connection is more important than the erection. Oh, really? You like the connection more than the erection? Yeah? You sure about that? Thanks for that, Emily. Ems. Right. Queenie says, ace skills, bro. Emily says, wow, the story was definitely unfortunate. I don't know if it was the one you was sharing about the brother, the married night, and then it was a missionary visit, or me telling my one. I'm gonna tell you a bit more about that story next week. Yeah, Mr. I couldn't get it up. You know, we should bring out some our own brand of Viagra as well. Hey, Scott Tort and Levy, we're gonna bring out our brand of We're gonna bring out our brand of Viagra. Right, we call it I Can't Get It Up. You know what I mean? So yeah, stop us your emails if anyone wants any I Can't Get It Up branded, our own brand of umbrella, because we've got it's pharmaceutical. You can sell it by law. Right. So a few more comments we're gonna read out, and then we'll have another clip from Tasha. Laugh, man, let them see her laugh, man. She's killing herself. Laugh. It's true. You know what I mean? Right. Or if you want, read them out the email because I'll give them the natural remedy as well. What they can blend up in them yard. No, yard man thing, you know? No, some Irish must. I'm tell you what for blend. Give them the email. Right? Send the email to Ask Ace. Right. I just title it. I can't get it up. And I'll give you the ingredients. Go on, give them.
Ask us at the-lovezo.co.uk.
And what should they call it? What's the title? Huh? They want to title it. Eh? What title it? Eh? So we know what it's about. No, can we have some remedy, you know, some Irish moss and certain typical thing, you know what I mean? But some peanut punch and them thing there, you know, full of protein, right? Back to the. Not true. Not true. What's up? Cat got your time? Hey. Yeah. So Emily Lewis says that was unfortunate, you know what I mean? But yeah, we ain't got that problem around here. Queenie says no Ace Tina Turner song. Remember, it's based on experience. So what else about the What's Love got to do with it?
Okay. Yes.
Laline did not lose Ace. She was trying to strip the statement apart. All right, more siding with Lee. Watch it. You did ask her if she agreed, Ace. Like, Emily, respect each other's differences.
We do respect each other's differences.
Of course we do.
Yeah.
Course we do.
Yeah.
Stop squeezing my hand now. Let go of my hand now. Emily says, yes, conversation about everything in relationships are important. Very important. I think we discussed this a bit earlier as well. Communication. It's all about communication. A lot of relationships fail simply because the people in the relationship don't spend enough time communicating with each other.
Yeah. There is a thing though, isn't there? It's the type of communication. Some men don't want to spend time having a lot of conversation. Yeah. They think that conversation should be with your girlfriends. If it's a woman, go and have your. But when we're talking about communication, we're talking about how the relationship is working, what's not working, and what we can do to make it better.
Yes.
However, some men are afraid of those conversations, and what challenges may come up because of those conversations. So it's about, dispelling, this fear, because the conversation is only going to make that relationship better. Because if it's struggling and there's a problem, if you don't do something, it's going to fail. So if you do communicate, it still might fail, but at least you've tried with the communication.
Definitely. We got one more clip to play from that. Sorry, guys, we've got so much clips tonight. We didn't even manage to get through all of them, but we'll play the rest next week. Thanks everyone who sent in the clips, and we've got some more emails and stuff that we'll read out next week. And we're going to tell you after this clip what next week's shows are. Next week's show is going to be a mad thing. We're going to go up a gear again. But yeah, this here from Tash. Tash's last response to online dating. Yeah.
Do you think online dating is a good way of meeting a partner? I have friends who have actually met partners online, have had long-term relationships, and I think one of them actually got married. So, yeah, if you can get a husband from it, then all good. What would your preferred method of meeting someone be? I'm a bit of a traditional girl, so online dating is not for me, but kudos to anyone who does do it. We got to try at the end of the day. But for me, just traditional, meeting somebody, vibing, getting to know their energies a bit before exchanging time, because time is precious. Happy dating, people. Good luck if you are doing online dating. Please be safe, but have fun too. Take care. Bye.
Right, so just on this though, because Ace, like I said, work me, I work, and a chicken me, I jerk. It's not about me trying to convince Lena of anything. It's about me putting the information out there that has been channeled to Ace. Now, I've got a lot of problems, and this is one of them. In the UK, I have a problem with the way the government sexually educates our children in schools. And there's a lot of things that when you start to understand the mind, you can be very damaging to a child's mind at a young age. So right now, I know that there's been a lot of changes in regards to now the government are taking even more control over the sexual education that they teach our kids in schools. And I think that it's child abuse to teach a child how to engage in the act of penetration without explaining all of the emotional connections that come with that. So where Ace has got a problem with online dating, it's not, and that's why I thought, let me just separate today and saying, it's not about this. Big people can do what big people do because they're at an age where they've got experience. But for our youngsters coming up, I think it's a very damaging process, especially if they haven't socially developed all the other soft skills that come with that. So yeah, that's how I'm running the thing.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I'm in total agreement with that. You know, because I'm always the advocate for that. Educate our children emotionally on what you're going to feel, and think about mentally before you even start talking to them about sexually and penetration and things like that. We need to educate our children on what's going to happen to them emotionally.
Definitely. Do you know what, guys? Thanks for all the comments that are coming in. There's a few more. We've got a few more minutes left. I want to squeeze one more clip in, and then after this clip, we're going to wind down and tell you what next week's show is all going to be. Let's have our first clip from Jojo. Shout out to Jojo over there in sunny northwest. Let's see what Jojo had to say about online dating.
So, would you ever use online dating? No. I like to meet someone actually upfront, in a natural way, and see where the conversation goes. I believe that you can bounce off each other's energy personally rather than behind the screen.
Brilliant. So thanks to guys once again for all your interaction on the Instagram, on the YouTube, on the Facebook. Thanks for all of you guys that have sent your emails in asking us questions. Keep your questions coming. Like I said, if you've got any dilemma questions, relationship questions, they can email us. Next week's show, what are we going to be talking about?
We're going to be talking about jealousy.
Jealousy and what else?
Platonic relationships.
So this is something that I've been meaning to bring up for weeks now, because we've got a lot of couples that watch the show together. You'd be surprised about couples that actually, women say they sit down and watch the show with their man.
That's right.
And they actually have, the couples have conversations about what we're having conversations about. But I've had a few women actually write into me and say, Ace, can you talk about jealousy? Because my partner's very jealous. And I've been trying to reassure him that he shouldn't be so jealous, but it's actually having an effect on the relationship. And we're going to touch on platonic relationships and where does the line get drawn? But because I've got a lot to say on that subject as well. Do you know what I mean? Because you've got them man there, they're like sharks. You know them shark man there. They're like crouching tiger, hidden dragon, just waiting to pounce on your girl. You know, they've always got that. Oh, he's just a friend. You know that he's just waiting. No. There's no one size fits all. Don't shoot Ace. Like I said, we're gonna talk about this next week. There are platonic relationships, but you have them man there, like them like a sharky man that's just waiting. You know what I mean? Them ones there. You know what I'm talking about. So all that next week, platonic friendships, jealousy, and all insecurities. And where do you join the line in a platonic friendship? I.e., like, I know a few women that have gone on holiday with their male friends. Would you be happy with your partner going away with his female friend on holiday?
Without me?
Yeah, without you. Just they're going on holiday. They're just friends.
I don't think I would like that because I'd like to be on holiday with my partner. So I don't think I'd like that.
Yeah, but he just wants maybe to have some friend time or...
He wants to have some friend time. I guess if it was going both ways, if I could go away with my male friends, then I wouldn't... Then it would be quid pro quo, wouldn't it? So you do it, I do it. And it might work. That's the only way I could see it working. Yeah.
So all that next week. So do you want to summarize?
So yes, interesting debate again. Like what Nicola said, you know, if you are going on online dating, be safe, be aware, maybe have it as an introduction, not necessarily a keyboard warrior kind of relationship, but just be safe.
Yeah.
So yes, that's what I'd say.
And I'm very interested to hear this week, because we want to get a bit more into it next week, just to kind of this compatibility thing, because that was a very big point we raised, and it kicked off on the WhatsApp during the week.
Yes.
This whole try before you buy, but it was, I sat back, I didn't actually comment, I was just watching it all go off. But what was interesting is it, because I took myself out of my thoughts, and it was what other people was thinking. You know,
yes,
it was,
what I liked, it was the male energy was saying yes, find out, and the female energies were saying more, you know, you can work on those kind of things, but
both points are valid.
Both points are very valid.
And then even what you said today about can't get it up, that adds another spin on the whole, because it just destroys the whole building compatibility if you're going to wait till you get to, like I said, marriage. You know how much how much months going to planning that wedding there. Yeah, you know I mean? Wedding.
Well, that's a different thing, because he was deceitful. If he knew about it, he's deceitful. That's a different thing, isn't it? Really, it's unfortunate, because he's done something that he shouldn't have done.
And what about your scenario? What happened? Oh, he was just boring.
Yes, because some people are not experimental sexually. Some people just only want to have sex in a certain way, and that's okay if your partner wants that too. But if it's not what they want, that is the problem. So the discussion needs to happen.
But wouldn't that boil down to then that, because they don't know any better? It always goes down to what you know.
Yes, but the thing is, if you're not prepared to experiment, some men are not prepared to experiment. Some men will only are prepared to do what they do, and that's it.
Yeah. All that and more next week. You know, it's been a blast as usual. London town. You know, I'm your emperor, your Scott Talk, and I'm alongside the goddess Lillian. Have a good night, and I'll see you guys next week.
Bye-bye.
Peace.